Okay, we are live. Welcome back to Stall Talk. Tuesday's my favorite day of the week. I'm Kendra Dixon. If we haven't met already, I'm really excited that you, for whatever reason, have clicked on or you opened your phone or your laptop right now and you get to watch live something we do every Tuesday called Stall Talk. And this is our 26th episode. We're sponsored this week by Merhow Trailers. And I love Merhow. I love to talk about the story when I pulled a 3-axle Merhow, and it was a ton of fun. And that was the best trailer I ever pulled in my life. We want to go ahead and get to our topic right away. So this week's topic is something that I really struggled with. When I was younger and my horses bought me a real rodeo horse, finished 7 pages of printout credentials. She had won so many world titles in all kinds of speed events, barrels, poles, youth this, youth that, open rodeo, all of these associations. Back then, okay, keep in mind, it's been a while, 7 pages of credentials. And I could not wrap my head around how to trust this horse. And the man who sold the horse to us, his name was Larry Morgan. He was very influential, even though I was super frustrated and I was feeling a lot of pressure from my family because my mother bought that horse for me with money she shouldn't have been spending on an extra horse. So my mom and dad were not at a good place over this horse, which put a lot more pressure on me. And I could not make that horse turn in a 50-acre pasture, much less an arena, a rodeo arena. And every week my mother would call Larry back and basically complain up one side and down the other and chew him out. You sold us the wrong horse. How could you do that? I want to look at her papers and see if I got the right horse. And she was very rude to this man. He was so calm every week. He let her rant and rave. And of course, I'm sitting in the kitchen listening to the whole thing every week, terrified. And very calmly, Larry would say, Miss Carol, your daughter still ain't riding that horse right. Tell her to put her hands forward and kick. I couldn't do it. Something up here told me that I had to safety up, that I had to do something, that I was going way too fast and there was no way that horse could make a turn. And once Larry finally got through to me and I could feel it for myself, that little mare taught me the art of hustle. That the harder you drove her, the better she turned. And it was easier. I couldn't understand that because I'd never felt that. I'd never had a finished horse that caliber. I'd never had an automatic horse. I'd been on horses that I had to help a lot. I had to rate them down, check them, and I had to physically finish the turn for them. And I was a kid. So that was my first real lesson in understanding how to trust a horse. I want to introduce some people really quick because I'm so blessed to have an amazing team. Leanna Ray comes from the field of behavioral neuroscience. And that just blows my mind that you're here. We're so honored. I love getting to pick your brain and hear your expertise and your spin on things every week. So Leanna, tell us again where you're watching from and
yes, well,
horses.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's an honor to always to be here. And the conversations that we're having are applicable to, of course, our horses, but also our own life. And that's what makes Stalls Talk so incredibly invaluable and a blessing, because again, these things that we are having conversations about, they're important both to our inner world, the relationship between us and the horse, and to those people around us. And my background is Fort Worth, Texas. My background is relational neuroscience and interpersonal neurobiology. And I have the honor and joy to work alongside Michael Richardson at Broken R Ranch, and the understanding how the relationship, that nervous system to nervous system, right brain to right brain, there's no better relationship than that of a person and a horse to really exemplify what that means.
I think it's very fascinating, the journey we're on. It's
Yes.
a learning journey. You sandwich them together, it's a learning.
Yes.
we're on a learning together. And this deep dive every week really gives me so much to think about. And I marinate on it. I pull it apart throughout the week. I replay in my mind these conversations we're having. And the older I get, I think Donna K. Rule says something like, the older I get, the more I realize I want to know. The more I want to learn. And I've heard her say that multiple times. And I so resonate with that.
Yeah.
Michael Richardson, you had a show on RFD TV that was very popular called The Gift of the Horse. Tell us why your ranch is named Broken R Ranch. I hadn't picked up on that before.
Well, yes, and I would echo the same thing that Leanna mentioned. It's an honor to be here and to be part of this, and I just commend what you and Lori have done, Kendra, and are doing, because I think it's a great way to get the message out to a much greater extent in this, the opportunities with the technology and the advancements that we see every day. It just blows me away, because I was one of those person that I would help one person at a time. This is a way we can reach out to more and help horses and people, and that's a beautiful thing. I reside in Hyco, Texas, the home of Billy the Kid, and Broken R Ranch came about really because I sustained a spinal cord injury in '86, and it left me with paralysis of my lower extremities. So the broken part, we kind of work off of that, and the fact that we're not broken, it's just it allows us, because of unfortunate circumstances at times with an injury for sure, but it allows us to process information maybe different and think about how we can utilize what we do have to our fullest. And so the Broken R Ranch came about really from that perspective, and the idea that someone's broken is really not the case. It just gives us the chance again to think about it from a different perspective, and that's kind of where I come from.
Well, we love your perspective, and I talked about you a lot throughout the week. I'm like, Michael said, and Michael said, and y'all go watch the replay because Michael said this. So it's just awesome to see the dynamics of our team continuing to expand. And I'm really excited for the people watching today and for everyone who's going to stumble upon this in the future, because we do keep the replays on our YouTube account. And then Lori makes sure that they're streaming on Facebook. Shelly Hares, our lead editor, content director, she's going to start replaying things throughout the year so more people are aware of what Stall High is and what's happening. Were you going to say something else, Michael? I think I cut you off.
No, I was going to echo some things that Leanna said, and the ability. I'm kind of having a reemergence, if you will. One, the technology and the opportunity to be involved with Stall High and you lovely ladies, but also to work with Leanna and start to really understand the neuroscience part of it, because I was a guy that worked by myself a lot, and because of my perspective, it's allowed me to look from a different lens and see these nuances. And I think the nuances that have helped me get to where I am and continue to develop my abilities as a horseman is the beautiful thing, is then to be able to share that. And so I just can't say enough about Leanna and the neuroscience part, but also Martin, your contributions, and then to hear what you, Kendra, and Lori, and everybody on Stall High has and is contributing. So it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. So you mentioned Martin Patella, founder of Life Enthusiast, and we love having Martin to soundboard with as well, just to understand more of what's happening inside our physical body and what some of those reasons may be that, quite frankly, until you have answers, it can be super frustrating. I heard something yesterday. A problem is simply a question that you don't have an answer for yet.
Yeah,
and I
yes.
love that. Oh, I love that, because it makes the problem less scary. It makes the problem less intimidating. Nothing's wrong, guys, but something's probably missing. So as we continue to learn, we continue on this lunch and learn quest and this learning that we're on. It's more and more dynamic. Like we're really getting through some really intense layers. Martin, how's your day?
It's lovely. It's good. Thank you. My day. You know, the questions keep coming in from the field pretty quickly, and it seems to me that with every succeeding generation, the health problems are arriving at an earlier age. So I would say that what I'm dealing with is watching how the industrial society and the industrial method of agriculture and food production is in fact failing or making people less healthy. And so that's what I'm working with.
Mhm.
I mean, it's the nutrition. And if you don't have the right stuff coming in, you're not going to be building your body and your horses or whatever else animal that you are with body either.
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay, stay tuned because I know you're going to have something to add this week. My sister-in-law from Nacogdoches, Texas, Lori Roth. She's moderating every week. Couldn't do this without Lori. And our review, My Ride, which is a video analysis program we have at Stall High. Our rider this week is Mindy Rains. So, hey, Mindy.
Hello.
I'm so proud of you for having your camera on because we love seeing your face. And I'm just so proud of you and your husband, Martin, both, because you've been part of the online mentor program. I think you've come to every single digital clinic we've produced since 21.
Mhm.
And you're part of the online mentor program. And even though I don't see you guys every night, I know you're watching those replays.
Mhm.
So I'm excited that we get to, review you and Paint as a team. And I'm excited for our team to see it in a new perspective. So Leanna, Michael, do you want me to start by playing the video? And I'll let you start to ask. I know Martin, Michael, you were starting to ask what some of the background history was. So let me
Yes.
share the screen. All right, do you all have a visual?
I love that. That is just the coolest thing ever.
I love this software.
Man,
I
I mean,
What
I do. It's amazing.
it helps us see. So Leanna, do you want to start by asking her, a little bit about her background?
Oh,
What comes to mind?
absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. So tell me a little bit about you and your horse. I want to start off knowing a little bit about how you would describe your horse and then your relationship with the horse. I would love to hear that.
Well, she's my unicorn. She puts up with me for the most. I know she used to guys say she loves me, but I really do think she puts up with me sometimes. I'm coming back from, I guess I've been trying to come back for like 4 or 5 years now from my cancer battle that I had in 2016 when I had both my breasts removed and all the surgeries and all that stuff. So I've been struggling with getting my confidence back, and I'm finally starting to see some help. I'm starting to get my confidence back slowly. So,
Yeah.
And she's 19 and I've had her probably 10 years now.
Okay.
And she takes care of me, and she's always, and even if she'll tell me, she's not let me get on before. She's not letting me get on her before because of her knowing that I wasn't right. So she refused to let me on her. So she really does take care of me. So, that's basically the story. I'm just trying to get myself back.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that as far as your health journey, because I just want to commend you for the journey you've been on. And I'm thankful that you have made it to the other side. And I think that statement of she takes care of me, that is a gift. What a gift to have in your world and in your life, and for you to share that with us. So thank you. When you said that you want to come back, did you feel like that there's a definitive line, like you were at a particular place and you lost ground and you can't seem to get that ground back? If you, as far as competition, can you describe that, kind of unpack phrase for me?
Most of it is just, it's mostly this pen that you're seeing now that I have an issue with.
Okay.
There's a fence that's open on that side. And for some reason, I can't seem to, I don't know if it's a short pin, but for some reason I start worrying about things and then I get a hold of her. So, and she's just going to listen. So
Yeah.
I can't seem to get in my mind to get her past that. And it seems like after the first barrel, I'm okay most of the time.
Mm-hmm. And you said that this particular pin, because there's a fence that's open. Is that fence open?
You can see everyone, you can see everything. These people are moving. I don't know if it's like my mind, like my depth perception is messed up or what it is. It's mostly that side.
Yes. And is that side on the right or the left?
It's a left because she's a left-handed. I'm a right-handed person and she's a left-handed horse. Okay.
And I think you just named something very important, is that you see a lot of people moving, right? And and then that sounds like it could possibly affect your depth perception. Does that feel, when you see that, do you notice your body? Are you connected, and can you sense where your body begins to show those stress patterns?
No, it's like, that's what I'm trying to think of, because it's like I can't remember my runs right now. And I don't know why either. I was able to, I went through a period where I couldn't remember nothing. And then I started remembering them. And now I'm kind of back to not being able to, but she's quietly going in. And I was having issues with that. And now she's starting to go back in again because I'm starting to talk to her and stuff again. So it's just getting past it.
Well, when you talk to her, what do you feel like that shifts something in you and her as well?
Yeah, it calms me down, and I think it calms her down too. Because when I'm going in, she's just really quiet, and she waits for me to turn her loose.
I think, and then I'll back to Michael and to Kim. Mindy, you just said something that's really a powerful principle in relational neuroscience, and it's the name it to tame it. And that's Dr. Dan Siegel's work. And the component of that is that once we name the distress, we name it, we describe it, it actually allows blood flow to go back into our frontal cortex here. That's how powerful being able to have that, because you two already have a beautiful relationship, and that was lovely to hear. And as soon as we get tense, our nervous system can go into either sympathetic, which is incredibly aroused without feeling grounded, or we're vacillating. We could vacillate in dorsal, which is we just want to shut down and dissociate a little bit. But we also know that in the brain, blood flow becomes constricted, and it becomes more intense in the amygdala, which is our feeling part of the brain. So our feelings get way big, like a magnifying glass. But the moment we name what we are feeling, which is what you've intuitively, Mindy, it's already in there, you came to, is that when you name it, blood flow is released. And again, it goes back into this part of our brain, which is our personality, our higher level functioning and reasoning. And so that component right there, the naming it to connect with it, the name it to tame it, the name it to acknowledge and validate, opens up that breathing space and oxygen and blood flow. And, and again, now I would love to hear Michael and Kendra's, but was that helpful to hear? Sometimes it's nice to hear, be validated that your instinct and when you do something, how it's actually affecting you internally and externally.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me. It helped me understand. Before I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought it was crazy because I had all these weird symptoms. And once they told me what was wrong, I was like, oh, so now I have something I can research. Now I know what I'm fighting. Now I understand why I'm having all these weird symptoms. So it was actually empowering. So Mindy, I hope that does help you. I have a feeling the more you chew on it and marinate this week, you're going to have more light bulb moments like, oh, wow, rewind. Let's go back and talk about that again. Michael, do you want me to keep playing the videos or do you want me to stop share so you can talk to Mindy?
Well, either way, it's all right. I love watching the videos. I'm really intrigued with this software. It's just incredible. Mindy, I really commend you for the journey that you have been on and are on with coming back from some of your health challenges. And I think you're doing a fantastic job. So first and foremost, I commend you and keep up the great work. And with that being said, what a beautiful horse. I mean, what a beautiful horse. And what I'm looking at is I'm coming at it from a biomechanical perspective. And I see some things that I think would possibly be of help. But I think what Leanna shared is going to be so instrumental in your ability to continue to come back and gain more confidence and do some things that you and your horse will just be able to share together. But would you, I'll start this way. Do you do any flat work other than focus solely on barrels?
Yeah, we don't see barrels unless they're running in a pattern.
Okay.
So I just long trotter and stuff down the road and loper. Try to keep it like that.
All right. So that's good. I think if you were to incorporate, and I'd be more than happy to help you with this to a greater extent, some dressage movements that I think could help, that would not only help in the relationship between you and your horse, but would help your horse supple and gain more insight and ability through these exercises to help your horse better. Well, your horse mover, that when you go to the barrel pattern, and that would be what I would look for. Like, for example, in an arena, in your flat work, which is under saddle work, in this case, can you help your horse lengthen and shorten her stride just off of, let's say you're doing a posting trot and you're on the right diagonal, which means that you're going to rise and fall. When that right foreleg starts to come forward, you come up out of the saddle. So then I would say, okay, through your posting trot work, can you help your horse lengthen and shorten just off of your ability within your posting trot? That would be what I would look for, to see if we could get that accomplished. And I'm sure you're doing it, but I would focus on that more. And what that's going to do is it's going to help your horse lengthen her stride and then shorten her stride to be able to come up through her top line. So she's softening through her top line and being able to get her hindquarters underneath herself to a greater extent, which is your engine, to load those legs better and more, to be able to push off. And what that energy coming from behind and through her top line is going to allow her to come up through her forehand and be able to soften and lighten her forehand. Therefore, within this work, you're going to get her to come in front of your leg and not behind your leg.
Wait, hold on. I'm following you, but I don't understand what you just said.
Okay.
So you're going to get her to soften and lighten her forehand. And what did you just say? Please repeat it.
Elevate her forehand to get her to the point through the lengthening and shortening of her stride within the posting trot work to be able to come in front of her leg. Because what we want our horses to do, if you can envision my hand being the horse, this being the forehand, right now what I see is this. So she's behind your leg and not able to get her hindquarters underneath herself, and therefore not being able to elevate through her forehand. And when she's able to do that, she's moving uphill, so to speak. And that's what we call that. to be able to soften the forehand and the footfall, because she's now coming through to a greater extent from the hindquarters. And we call that, what we want our horses to be is in front of our leg, not behind our leg.
Okay. I don't come from a dressage world, so some of that lingo is new to me. I can
That's all right.
appreciate the feeling, but I want to learn more about your techniques and how we get there. So we want our horses to be in front of our leg. I'm writing that down.
Yes, ma'am.
Mindy, have you ever heard this before, or is this brand new to you?
No, I don't know anything about dressage. I like watching it, but I don't know nothing about it.
Well, babe, I think you and I are fixing to learn a little more. And I'm thinking Moody Mare Clinic, which, by the way, I don't think you're signed up for that, but I really want you to consider it, because even though your mare's not moody and my mare's not either, she's a peach. We still have an amazing opportunity to learn while James Davison is here. He's going to be our main clinician, but Leanna and Michael, you guys are planning to come as well. And so I think we could have a really unique opportunity on our hands to capitalize on the moment and the perfect weather. And Chad's going to make sure our ground is good.
There you
So,
go.
Michael, just for people who are watching right now, and you've all got our ears forward, we're like, what? So most barrel racers don't have experience in the dressage pen. Can you kind of give us some tips on how to start understanding this and practicing at home? How do we extend and shorten based on our post? What are we feeling?
So when we're doing our posting trot work, and it's important that we understand being on the correct diagonal. And that means, again, when the shoulder that's on the wall or the rail, when it's coming off the ground back and it starts to come forward, that's when you want to come up out of the saddle. And what that does is it allows that inside hind to be able to come underneath themselves, so the horse can balance themselves to a greater extent. Then,
Okay. So if I'm traveling right now, okay,
right,
and I'm making a left-handed arena, so the wall is on my right,
right,
my mare's right arm extends forward. My butt needs to be up.
your butt needs to come up the moment that leg comes off the ground to come forward. Yes,
Okay.
correct,
And so when this one comes forward, butt goes down.
correct. Yes, ma'am. And it's very important to understand, because it affects the balance of the horse. And if you disrupt the balance of the horse, you disrupt the nervous system, you disrupt their confidence mentally, and they're not able to perform and benefit from exercises.
I've heard that.
What? Martin, is that new to you?
Yeah.
Does that blow your mind?
To me, it's very new.
You realize we are in the presence of just history is being changed right now. We are impacting history right now, and I'm totally nerding out on this. Okay, you got to repeat that. Like, we're at the 32-minute mark. We're going to save that timestamp, because what you said was just really important, Michael.
So you want me to repeat? Okay. So when we're on the correct diagonal and we're helping our horse be balanced, it gives us more ability to understand how impactful we are as a rider. Because again, we want to have one mind and one body. We want to melt right into each other. It's not two entities anymore, it's one. So with our work, and it's dressage principles for the performance horse is what I like to share in clinics and workshop. But it's understanding how we can take these exercises and develop them to where they become movements that the horse becomes more supple and gains more confidence through the exercises, through the suppleness, which again gets back to what Leanna and Martin say with the nervous system, because you're starting to shape it to a greater extent through movement.
Okay.
And go ahead.
Mindy, does this sound amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody watching right now, please light up the comments. If this sounds like what has been missing your whole riding career, I want you to let us know. I don't believe it's a coincidence that you are listening right now or you're catching this replay. You found Stall Talk for a reason. I just don't believe in coincidence. So I definitely want to advance as a rider. I still have my goals on getting back to the top 15 and qualifying for my first national finals. So please continue. This is awesome. Dressage principles for the performance horse.
Correct. And as this starts to manifest, and you're seeing yourself just melt right into this beautiful one single entity, then what comes of that is that energy coming through from the hindquarters comes forward, and then the horse is going to be able to use their head and neck as they would naturally, as an aid to balance and as an aid to impulsion. So yes, we hear people say, give them their head. But if our position hinders the ability of that animal to come underneath themselves with their hindquarters like they're meant to be, it won't work. It's gotta be put together in such a way that the horse knows how to come underneath themselves, therefore loading those hind legs, creating more flexion through the hocks, which gives them this ability to come under and load those legs and push off. And so what we try to work on in these workshops is understanding these movements, and then how does these movements pertain to our discipline?
Mhm.
And so another way to look at it, it's cross training for the horse.
Ah, I like that. So it doesn't matter if you're a reiner, a weekend rider, a breakaway roper, barrel racer, dressage, hunt seat, Western pleasure. Horse
Correct.
mechanics are horse mechanics. And what we learned earlier as we just started Stall Talk was that when there's an error in the mechanics of your tack adjustment, your riding style, the techniques that you were taught to use, when there is a mechanical error, your horse will absorb that, not like it, and it will manifest emotionally.
Yes.
So we're really digging in. And Leanna, I love how you say this every week, like, we're the only people having these discussions, right? Yes, we are pioneering a brand new topic to the horse world. I understand that horse therapy typically is for the rider's benefit, but we are advocates for the horse. We are waving the flag that says we care about the mental health of our horses.
Yes.
That is, in my opinion, even more valid and more valuable than their physical fitness, because really that's pretty easy to adjust with with everything we have access to today. The whole industry is focused on physical fitness and conditioning and soundness, but most of them are missing what's going on between the horse's ears and the damage that's being done by either wrong mechanics being taught and popular and applauded, or just by not having enough information.
Yep.
Leanna, you want to step in here real quick? I'm taking some really awesome notes today, and I got my highlighter.
So am I, like pages. Well, one, I think that you said something, Kendra, that's incredibly profound, is that these fundamental movement patterns that Michael understands, that I've been watching for the last year, is also, it connects to our own fundamental movement patterns as human beings. And the fundamental movement patterns as human beings for us is flexion, extension, and rotation. And that under stress, our bodies will display what I would call a compensatory movement pattern, a holding pattern, if you will. And so to know the nuances, so as you're working on the horse's movement patterns, we also need to be addressing and attending to our own movement patterns. Because our movement patterns, it's an expression of our internal state, and it's a reflection of the field of relationship around us.
Okay, hang on. You just hit a hot button. You just nailed a bullseye. and this is so hard to wrap our heads around. It's a reflection of our internal state. That sometimes hurts when we wake up to that. But once we get over the insult or the, oh God, it gives us an opportunity to learn more and again, make those changes. It takes the
Yes.
scare out of it. So a
It does.
reflection of our internal state, what does that mean?
A reflection of our internal state. So if we are in parasympathetic, we know we have, of course, we're going to have natural adrenaline, right? But and this is where Martin can speak to this as well, is that though we want that adrenaline to be accompanied by an inner state that would allow that adrenaline to help us function in a more regulated way instead of just over hitting that cortisol button, right? So we want that serotonin and that oxytocin to come in play because this is a relationship. This is the coming together of your horse and yourself, one mind, one body. And understanding that information helps shape the experience we are about to have.
Okay. It helps shape the experience we're about to have. It helps determine the run we're about to make.
It sure does, because mental rehearsal. And so, Mindy, what I was thinking of, as Michael was sharing the principles of movement, is that if that left side for you is a challenge before the day before, whatever that is, to mentally rehearse that in detail. Because when we mentally rehearse things in detail, our brains will create a neural pathway of experience as if it's already been there, done that, and can do it again. And so what you would do is, as you would replay that in your mind, notice the tension patterns that you might have in your body in response to that. When you notice that, so you might feel the shoulders drawing up, which will actually begin to put pressure on C1, C2 in your atlas. You want to be able to either place a hand here at the base of your neck. You might want to then take a deep breath and feel those shoulders softening just a little, because what you'll be addressing, Mindy, is this is honoring your tension pattern, but working with that. And then your brain registers it as, I know how to do this. So the next time you get into experience where you're like, yep, all that movement is very unsettling. You bet it would be to a lot of people. But again, establishing that experiential pathway through visualization, through mentalization, your brain goes, I've done this before and I've done it differently. And so that's why I think what makes horsemanship incredibly dynamic and rewarding is because we're talking about physical, emotional, and mental, and now our nervous system in this way, which makes it incredibly profound for so many reasons.
So good. Okay. Before I go to Mindy, you said our own movement patterns, flexion.
Extension, extension, and rotation. So, it's kind of the pliability of the spine and the body being able to come together. Oftentimes I'll ask people before they go into a performance, can you feel your feet? Can you feel your pelvis? Can you feel the base of your, the base of your head where it meets the spine? Okay, now can you feel your hands? Now I know it, and we can go through this exercise. It's called body mapping, because it's our own fundamental movement patterns. We were created by flexion, extension, coming back out, rotation, and having all those dimensions means we have dimensionality in the way we think. We can go over that at another time, but those movement patterns actually allow us then to have access to all parts of our brain, right, left, top, bottom, front, back. Same thing in our bodies. It's a reflection. And so now that we know that, we then are equipped with the tools to say, hey, before I go into an experience, whether that be a competition or just getting into the pen, doing some sacred groundwork with your horse, right? You check in with yourself and go, all right, What can I feel? Do I, and try this. And then as you breathe, you're like, I feel my feet, but I might feel my right foot more than my left. Just noticing that and naming it, then the body begins to map, the brain and the body come together and goes, oh, yep, your left feet needs to come and be involved in this process, right? So those dynamics, but again, those are fundamental movement patterns. Horses have them, and so do human beings.
Wow. Mindy, are you going to ride tonight?
Probably.
Okay. Does this give you some new things to think about while you ride? Now that they're saying this, does it make you aware that, wow, maybe I was not thinking as much when I ride? Like, what do you typically think about? Are you paying attention to the move and the feel of things? Or are you thinking about something else when you ride? Where's your mind usually at on just a daily ride?
Normally I'm thinking about where her feet are at and stuff.
Mhm.
I try to think, like, is she stretching out? Is she sore? Is there something I'm causing or something? But, didn't know how to like really fix it or whatever. So
I think you and I are both going to be on the rail tonight watching that right foot
mhm.
when we're going around. So Michael, what else can you tell Mindy for this next ride and her next race?
Well, Mindy, first and foremost, keep up the good work. You're doing great, and it's so refreshing, and I'm just so proud of you, and I want to help you any way I can. And with that being said, what I would do first and foremost is I'd move my saddle back an inch. Move your saddle back 1 inch, and
Okay.
let out your breast collar, and let your saddle come back, because you're sitting in front of the 13th vertebra, which we can get into later. But you move your saddle back, and then text us, however, message us. I'll give you my number. You can call me and see if that helps. I bet you're going to feel something that's really going to just blow you away.
Okay. I'm going to try that too. And you're really challenging everything in my body, because I know where my saddle needs to fit for me to have a secure ride. So actually, I'm going to text you my own picture, like where my saddle is and where my saddle pad is, if that's okay, Michael. So you can tell me, test it, Kendra. If you tell me to test it, I trust you. I'm going to test it. Martin, what are some light bulbs what are some dots that you're connecting, or light bulb moments you're having right now as you listen to the discussion? And
Well, there's a really interesting link with physiology and this autonomic nervous system that Leanna was talking about. In the human, the sympathetic versus parasympathetic is actually affected by the foods we eat. And there are two human models. One's known as the oxidizer, the other one is the autonomic. And one is made more alkaline, which is parasympathetic, by adding fats and proteins, and the other one by adding carbohydrates. And you can't be both. You're either left-handed or right-handed. You're either sympathetic, or I should say oxidizer, or autonomic. So when you eat, about 60 to 90 minutes later, this stuff is digested and hits your body, and it hits your body with either the alkalizing tendency or the acidifying tendency. And the acidifying tendency makes you more tense. It makes you more sympathetic. It makes you more easy to get stressed, more easy to lock up in the no frontal cortex, all back brain, can't think, just act. Whereas when you are supporting the sympathetic, you're going to be more relaxed, more deliberate in your actions, and have better choices. So you need to understand that. Once you understand it about yourself, and it's findable, you can find it for yourself. You eat a bowl of porridge. If it makes you more relaxed, then you have carbohydrates that are more relaxing to you. If that makes you more nervous or short-tempered, then that's more acidifying. And then the antidote to that would be something that's rich in protein and fats, like an omelet, no potatoes, that sort of thing. And then, of course, then there's this whole picture of how did we get to the breast cancer and all of that. I mean, I could riff off of that for half an hour.
Mhm. We could definitely keep expanding on just today's topic. And circling back, it is, and Mindy wants to speed up. She feels like she's stalled right now in the 5th division in the 5D, and she feels like she's been bumping against this barrier, like how to speed up, even when our brain is telling us safety up. So Mindy, I love that you were transparent. Like, I don't remember everything. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. That's valuable information. Once you get past the first barrel, and I've heard you say that before, but there is something about the first barrel for a lot of riders. You are not the first person I've heard say that before. So we're learning a lot today about how to get to the root of it. Is there anything else, Mindy, that you want us to try to pick apart? Has this been helpful? If you're blacking out going to the first barrel, all right, because we want to help you speed up, even if that means slowing down right now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Michael, doing the groundwork, how long does someone, I know you can't just say, because every horse and every rider is individual. How long do we need to do that before we can expect it to carry over in high gear?
I'd give yourself 30 days if you could.
Whoa. Mindy, are you willing to do that? If Michael tells us more and teaches us more,
Yeah.
are you willing to slow down and focus on the flexion, the extension, and the rotation in paint and yourself for 30 days before you go fast again? Or will that just throw a big monkey wrench in your barrel racing dreams?
I think it'd be all right.
Don't look at me.
I was
Martin's back there going, don't, my mare's ginning.
Don't ask.
I was trying to go to Paint Worlds in July, but I don't know yet, because I was like, I wanted to be competitive before I go to Paint Worlds.
We have over 30 days before July.
Well, I guess I would say it this way. When can we get together in person?
At the movie
I will drive up to see you if I have to help you.
Yeah,
Moody Mare Clinic. At the Moody Mare Clinic. I'm just gonna drill that one. So we had one spot open. If I'm correct, Lori, now we have 2 spots open. So there are 2 spots left for an in-person event. So if you're listening right now, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're at, and if you want an opportunity to ride, this event is going to happen April 1st and 2nd in Aubrey, Texas. Our ranch is located 30 miles north of Dallas. Super easy to get here. And you can enter right now at moodymaremakeover.com. If you can't come in person, that's cool. That's why Stall High is powering this, and we are digital. So this is what's called a hybrid clinic. If you're not one of the 5 in-person riders, you can watch online. We're going to stream. So get your virtual ticket. It is $47, and it literally could change your mare in 2 days and save you thousands and thousands of dollars of trying to get along with her by using other product station. And, maybe it's just something as simple as a tack adjustment. Maybe it's extension, rotation, and flexion. Like that's what we're going to learn. That's what we learn every day at Stall High. But I'm excited for Moody Mare Makeover. So Mindy, I'm absolutely going to encourage you to grab one of those last spots. Michael, Leanna, I know you will be here. So I think that's in my mind, that's the ideal time to do it because Shelley's going to be here with her camera. Lori and I will be here with our phones. James is our lead clinician. And that's an opportunity where I feel like we can, you know, really work dynamically. I love that word, as a team. Mindy, again, I'm going to ask you if slowing down for 30 days and working on what we discussed today only gets you 1/10 faster. If that's all it does for you is gain 1/10 faster, would it be worth it?
I think so.
How much do you think you could gain? How much faster could you get? I think I'm being very conservative at 1/10.
I think so too.
How much faster do you want to be?
I don't know, I just want to be competitive. I'm not looking to be some NFR girl or anything, just, you know.
I'll throw her on Bucky.
It keeps
That
threatening.
might get her over. That might just throw her right in the skillet, Martin.
I don't know, I'd probably end up on Beryl if I got on Bucky. She turns too hard.
Cat. Well, as we're kind of coming to an end, this hour has gone very fast. Michael?
Oh, I just was going to interject real quick. Mindy, do you have a snaffle bit you could use for the flat work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd try the snaffle bit
Okay.
because it'll be more palatable,
Okay.
and she's more likely to soften through her jaw and be able to use her atlas and axis better. Not to say
That's-
what you isn't
Yeah,
right.
I used to ride her a lot in like an O-ring snaffle, but I don't know. Because I really like that bit that Kendra has too, but I'm also very handsy, so I'm having a hard time with it. So
Well, the snaffle bit will help, and you don't have to run in your snaffle bit, but it'll help with your flat work, and just that change, and only if you feel comfortable, because you can work up to it. I think that might be something to consider with your flat work, and again, reach out to me. You can reach out to me through Kendra and Lori, whatever. I'm happy to help you any way I can.
Love it. And I can send you a picture of what our little bit of love looks like. So it's a 3-piece with a snubbed off shank. So that might work. But we'll save that discussion for another day, right?
Absolutely. And I really love
I have all of them, so it doesn't matter.
This was so good. This was just incredible. Once again, my mind is blown. I have a ton to think about. Guys, if you're watching right now, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook page, maybe you're catching a replay. Is this something you want to learn more of, that you want to learn more about? Is this something that you feel has been missing from your own relationship with your horse? Do you agree with us that this is missing from the horse industry at large, from the horse community, that it is needed, and it is stall high time that we talk about these things and we educate ourselves? We are a community of riders who are taking responsibility to learn more, to understand what it's like to be in our horse's shoes, to really understand the biomechanics. That's just a fancy word for the angles. Okay, the angles. What angles are happening either in the approach you're taking to whatever event it is, whether you're jumping fences or spinning 360s, running around barrels, chasing a calf, catching a steer. Think about the angles of your ride, the way you were taught to ride, the tack you're using, how your tack is adjusted. Tack can be working for you or against you. How do you know? Well, if your horse is not working at optimum level and you suspect he or she is capable of more, there's probably a biomechanical reason. There's something that we can help detect and correct so that you have a better next ride. That is what's happening at Stall High. That's what I geek out about every day. If you're interested, go download this app. It's free in the App Store and Google Play. Look for the button that says online mentorship or online training, and that's how you can get plugged in. to an online program with hundreds of hours of online instruction, and you can join a live class every night of the week. Plus, you'll have access to join this conversation every Tuesday. So, wow. Lori, I'm going to toss it to you real quick. What'd you think about this week? You're on mute.
I saw the other Lori come in, so I wasn't, but I think she had to go. So I didn't know if you were talking to me or the other Lori. I mean, my mind is blown, and as usual, Leanna, there's already something else that I can apply some of your techniques to that I'm getting ready to be faced with. And the timing couldn't be better for that. So it's something I can start doing today to prepare myself for a situation I've never been in, that has me a little, that already is starting the butterflies just thinking about it. So much of what we're learning is not only, we're talking about focusing on being able to be more aware of how we're feeling and what effects that's going to have on people around us or our horses. But it's just kind of something you can use every day to help kind of regulate and identify and work on some things that we may not even have realized are affecting us, much less those around us. So
Okay.
I love it. Like you said, Kendra, I geek out. I've been taking notes this whole time too. I have 2 full notepad pages full of notes. So I'm really excited to see you too, Mindy, kind of go through some of this stuff and your progress over the next few weeks. I'm excited.
Me too.
Very.
Me too.
I'm excited selfishly for me. I'm excited for you, Mindy. I'm excited for all of us at Stall High, everybody watching, but also for me. I want to be better. You don't just pull up and they just like say, "Ooh, wow, she's got a tough looking horse. Let me just forfeit everything and hand you the prize money." It doesn't work that way. You got to earn it and you got to make progress. So, Lori, I am excited. It sounds like we're going in the direction of actually, maybe we're closer to having a Stall High accredited program, because we do value mental health in horses. And we're understanding that mental health is directly related to mechanical either errors or mechanical benefits. There are benefits to having the angles right when you ride, your tack, your body, your techniques that you're using, whatever you're applying, and your understanding of that. So the mental mechanics of the equine world. Lori, you and I are going to have to figure this out with our team. Shelly, Leanna, Michael, people are asking, how do I learn more? How do I sign up for this? So I would love for us to get together before Moody Mare Clinic, April 1st and 2nd, figure out what a semester could look like for people that want to go to the next step, like they are ready to really learn more about this and actually have something to show for it. So it doesn't just help them with their personal horse, but they can go back to their horse community and help other people, and there be some validation to that. So I would love to keep talking about that. Deanna Ray, thank you.
Thank
You
you.
Blessed us once again, and you use a lot of words I've never heard before, but I love you for it. And I love you for challenging me and being the leader that you are and being willing to share your expertise with us as a horse community.
I'm learning so much. Learning so much.
So we're glad you're here. Martin Patella, thank you for shedding light on what's happening physically. Pay attention to what we eat and how we feel 90 minutes later. That's a simple first test. We can all do that. Michael Richardson, thank you once again. Let's keep this going. Lori Roth, Mindy, thanks for being here and let us review your ride. I know that took a lot. You're one of the sweetest, most soft-spoken people. So I know sometimes feeling like you're, in the hot seat and under the microscope, that takes a lot of courage. So thank you again for letting us review your videos. And even though we didn't talk much about the videos, I feel like what we did accomplish today is going to be a huge breakthrough for you, not just a milestone, but a huge breakthrough. So I'm excited to see where you are in 30 days from now. Okay, thank you, Merhow Trailers, for making this happen. Guys, if you want to learn more, go download the Stall High app. I'm Kendra Dixon. My team and I will see you there. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Interactive. I'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock. And if you're watching for free